الحمد لله وكفى ثم الصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى وبعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. After giving thanks and praises to Allah Almighty, and sending peace and salutation to the seal of the messengers Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family members, his companions, and whoever followed their footsteps to the day of judgment, and to proceed, inshallah, today we'll continue our class in fiqh, the book of marriage. And today we'll talk about al-uyub fi nikah. The flaws in marriage that will legitimize for either of the spouse to request for the discontinuation of the marriage contract, which we call first. Because in marriage, in order to end the contract, it is either a talaq, which is divorce, and that is the right of the man, or al-fasq, and fasq means nullification of the contract, to discontinue the contract. This is not considered talaq, and there are many reasons why the marriage contract is being discontinued. The first is al-khula, which is if the woman asks to ransom herself from the man because, for whatever the reason is, she doesn't want to continue the marriage anymore, she can end the contract by giving back the dowry. The second reason why the contract can be discontinued is if they place a condition before getting married. Let's say the woman said, I will marry you, but with a condition that do not move me out of the state of Pennsylvania, or even out of the city of Philadelphia. And he agreed with that. And then along the way, he said, listen, man, I'm making hijrah. I want to go to not even out of this city, but out of the what? Country. And you're going to have to come with me. The woman has the right to say, this is not what we have agreed upon from the get-go. You agreed to marry me with the condition that you're going to keep me here. And you the one who signed the contract. And the Prophet said, Al-Muslimun ala shurutihim. The Muslims have the right to place any condition that they want as long as it is not a condition that make halal haram or haram halal. So if a situation like this happens, the woman has the right to say, I'm not going to go. Okay? If you persist to go, I can discontinue the contract, and she does not have to pay back the dowry. I hope that this is clear. The reason being is because he is the one who did not fulfill the contract. The third reason is if there is a flaw in the marriage. And this is what we will address. So this is what we will address today in this chapter. Our noble scholar Ibn Uthaymeen said, what we mean by flaw in marriage is if there is a deficiency that will affect the interest of the marriage. All right? And he said these things are divided into two. The first is Fawad Sifat Kamal. If there is inexistence of equality of perfection. All right? We'll expound on that. And the second is Wujud Sifat Naqs. If there is the presence of the quality of deficiency. All right? In the inexistence of the quality of perfection, there is good, better, and best. In the existence of the quality of deficiency, there is bad, worse, and worst, right? So in a situation like this, our noble scholar Ibn Uthaymeen said, if it is the first, meaning if there is the inexistence of a quality of perfection, that will not give either of the party to discontinue the contract. And if they do, then they don't have the right of the dowry. For example, a man got married to a woman, right? He was thinking that she is, in the shape that he's expecting, but then when he got married to her, he realized that this is not what he's looking for. This will not affect the interest of the marriage, meaning it will not affect having children. It will not affect the consummation of the marriage. But he's expecting it to be better than what he is expecting. This will not give you the right to end the marriage without, and also keeping your dowry, right? Because there is space for improvement. But if it is a deficiency that affects the interest of the marriage, and this is what we'll talk about. Ibn Uthaymeen said these deficiencies are divided into three. Al-awwal yahtassu bil-rajul. Some of them is specifically in the man, and the some is specifically for the woman, and there are some that both parties share. Example of deficiency, yes.
What if she don't have a dowry anymore?
In what case?
Like whatever you may give her, what if she don't have it anymore? If she no longer has it?
There is going to remain a debt on her. You understand? Just as if a man got married to a woman and he did not have the dowry to pay her now. All right? The dowry will remain debt on him. Whenever he gets it, he has to pay it. Likewise, in a woman, if she asks for khola, you granted her the khola, but she wants your dowry back, she did not have it, it's going to remain a debt on her. Whenever she has it, she has to pay it back to you.
So do you still give her the khola?
You still give it, you still grant it a khola, and it's counted. Okay. Just as when you get married to a woman and you did not give her the dowry, the marriage is still what? Valid. When you have children, they consider the children. Okay? Because there is condition and there is obligation. When condition is lacking, it affects the validation of something. But if obligation is lacking, you're going to be held accountable for not fulfilling the obligation, but it doesn't affect the validation and the invalidation of that matter. I hope that is clear. If you get married to a woman without the presence of a legal guardian, the marriage is not what? It's not valid. Without the presence of witnesses, the marriage is not valid. But if you get married to a woman with the witnesses, with the presence of with the ijab or kabul, but then the dowry, you did not have it yet, but you promised to give it to her, the marriage is valid, to the end. Likewise, it's with the khula. If she asked for khula, you granted her the khula, but she did not have the money to give. The khula is counted. This is what some people think that she has to give you no. Once you said it is what? Granted, it is counted khula. It's up to you to follow her to get your money back, or to say, you know what, I forgive. And it's always better for you to forgive and let it go.
Another question, real quick. So what if you, I've seen some people marry the person back.
If a woman asks for khula, it is not considered a divorce. That's why we said khula is considered nullification of the contract, discontinuation of the contract, and therefore it will not be counted as a divorce. I hope this is clear. So you still can get remarried, but it has to be with a new dowry, new witnesses, and new contract.
So I'm asking, what if she didn't have the first dowry to get back to you?
It's still a debt on her. She can still ask you for a new dowry. That is even more expensive than the previous. And she can probably pay you back from the new dowry that you're going to give it to her. I hope this is clear. I've seen situations like this, It happens. This man will divorce his wife, and she'll ask for khola, and then a month later, no, I need her back. I said, you got to get married. Then she said, I need $5,000. And he will give it to her.
You didn't pay for the first one.
Now? Great. All right, so let's move on now. All right, so we say there are some that is just specific for men, right? Example of a flaw in a man that will affect the interest of the marriage, the automation, the inability to erect. and that is impotence, right? So if a woman got married to a man, and then she realized after that no, he cannot fulfill her need, she has the right to say, I'm sorry, I'm out of this marriage. This has to end. Because there's nothing she can do about it, okay? If you already give her the dowry, but did not consummate the marriage, then she deserved half of the dowry. But if he, of course, he will not be able to consummate the marriage, but she deserved half of the dowry. But if he did not give her the dowry, then what is upon them to do is to be separated. I hope this is clear. All right. Another example is, as our author mentioned, deficiency in man. If his thing is too short in a manner that he will not be able to penetrate. In this case, she cannot have babies. He cannot fulfill the interest of marriage. So this is also another flaw that is specific for men that will legitimize for the woman to ask for the discontinuation of the marriage. Some example of flaws in a woman is the inability to penetrate, and this is something that they call a retco. And I know a situation that happened that a man has given a dowry and he's not able to. So he asks for discontinuation of the marriage. So in a situation like that, he has the right to get his money back, because this is an eye that they know they have, but they did not disclose it to that individual. So these are some of the examples, but there are flaws that both spouses, meaning both genders, share. Some of these examples are illness. In general, our scholar here mentioned from when the illness are the inability to control the flow of urine or the flow of stool. Of course, if a person is not able to control the flow of stool, this is an eye. Before the marriage, you have to make it clear to the one that you're getting married to. This is a problem that I have. If they know and they agree with it, then fabiha wa ni'ma. But if we hide this and they come into the marriage and it become apparent afterwards, she has the right to ask for hola. And if it is his right, if the problem is with her, he has the right to say, I cannot continue with this zawaj. I hope this is clear. So this is not considered divorce. This is considered nullification of the contract because of a flaw that is present that the other party did not know. So here we're talking about this type of sickness. There are other sicknesses that are even worse, and the scholar did not mention that. For example, sickness that can be transmitted, right? Let's say STD, for example, right? So you got married to a woman, or you got married to a man, and then after the marriage, you find out that, oh, hold on, he has herpes. Oh, hold on, she has what? Herpes. You have the right to discontinue the marriage. And even if you give the dowry, she has the right to say, I'll continue the marriage, and she doesn't have the right, she doesn't have to give the dowry back to him. The reason being is because he is a cheater. That's what our noble scholar Ibn Uthaymeen mentioned. And situations like this happen. We do not know. I know a situation that somebody is conducting a marriage, right? So when they sit down to conduct the marriage, after they talk and everything, and they're about to conduct the marriage, the man said, oh, hold on, I have to, reveal this to you. I don't think I can continue. And then they said, why? He said, because I have herpes, right? So what do you think will be the response of the woman? If you are the woman and a man, you talk with a man and everything, just sit down to conduct the marriage and he said to you, he has what? He has this type of what? Illness. And it is transmitted disease, right? What would you do if you're a woman? Walk away, right? You'll be angry. What did she say? She said, oh, that's okay. Me too. Right? Which means he is honest enough to tell her that I have this problem. She did not even what? Reveal that to him. Until when he said I have it, she said, oh, that's okay. He was like, what's going on? Me too. Meaning she also what? Has it. How many people go into marriage with a situation like this? I know a situation that somebody has got married to a woman. She knows she has AIDS, right? She married him. And she is pregnant. Now, I don't know Islamically what type of ruling is upon this man. Because if this man catch this what? Illness, his life is put on what? On hold. Because this is a disease that can be transmitted to the next generation. Meaning if they have a baby, the baby may also what? There's 99% chance that the baby will also catch that illness. It's like you end his life. Situation like this, she deserves a penalty. Because it is like you kill somebody, right? She deserves to give him a diya kamila. Just as if you cut someone's private part, you have to give him diya what? Kamila. Which is how much, what is a diya kamila? What's the full diya? You know, if you kill somebody, what do you have to pay? 100 kamila. If you do something like this to somebody, it's like you end their life. So you have to give them 100 candle along with the crime that you have committed. So again, stuff like this, it happens. So we have to be careful and take a real precaution, especially, you know, in these days. May Allah the Almighty grant us understanding of this deen. Amen. Nah.
I don't mean to interrupt, but 100 camels for now. If you know what you gonna be.
I don't know. You can find out how much is one camel worth, and then you multiply that by 100. No, that's a lot of money, right? So again, these are type of the flaws in the marriage that a person can request the discontinuation of the marriage. Our noble scholar also mentioned كون أحدهما خنثى واضحا. If one of them is a clear hermaphrodite, right? You got married to somebody and then afterwards you realize that they are hermaphrodite. What you gonna do? In a situation like this, you have the right to discontinue the marriage. And a hermaphrodite is someone who has both gender, meaning, both genital. Sometimes they call them khutha mushkil. You know, if a situation like this happens, is that you have the right to discontinue if they did not reveal this to you. So the whole point is, if you have any deficiency in you that is out of the norm, right? And you're about to get married, you have to disclose that to the one that you're getting married to. If you did not, you have deceived that individual. It's like when you have an item that you're going to sell to somebody, it's a car that you want to sell to somebody. You have to let the person know that, oh, this car has this and this problem. If you did not, and you hide the problem, knowing that the car has that problem, and you sold the car to that individual with a price that is not what the car is worth, you have cheated that individual. And he has the right to bring it back and get his money. So all this is about being honest when getting married. Our noble scholar mentioned, وَمَنْ رَضِيَ بِالْعَيْبِ, whoever is pleased with the ayb, meaning he see the flaws and he said that's okay, أَوْ وُجِدَتْ مِنْهُ دَلَالَتَهُ مَعَ إِلْمِهِ فَلَا خِيَارَ لَهُ, or he saw the sign and he knows that this individual that I'm getting married to has this problem, and he still proceeds to get married. After they got married, he cannot bring up the issue and say, okay, listen, you have this and this and this, so I'm going to discontinue the marriage, I need my dowry back. He cannot do that. The reason is because they already have the knowledge of that. فَإِذَا كَمَّ الْفَسْخ, Ibn Uthaymin said, when the contract is over, فَإِنْ كَانَ بَعْدَ الْخَلْوَةِ, if the person is in seclusion with that woman, right, أَوِ الدُّخُولِ, or he consummated the marriage, فإن عليها العدة, then she has to remain in iddah. Okay, so now, Allah the Almighty said if you get married to a woman, right, you did not touch her or consummate the marriage, then there is no iddah on her. As you know, I got married to a woman, she's in California, we have not met yet. And then a week later, there's some misunderstanding between us, and I say, you know what, you are divorced. There is no iddah, there's no waiting period for that lady because we have not consummated the marriage. But if she is in seclusion with me, let's say she's in seclusion with me, but we still did not consummate the marriage, but it is just me and her in the house. Some of the scholars said she has to have a waiting period. Others said she does not have to have a waiting what? Period. As long as the marriage is not consummated. And you know, looking at the meaning or apparent meaning of the text of the Quran, there is no waiting period for a woman as long as you did not consummate the marriage. وإن كان قبل ذلك فلا عدة عليها لأن كل فراق يكون بين الزوجين قبل الخلوة فإنه لا عدة فيه. Ibn Taymiyyah said this is because any separation between the two parties, the husband and the wife, in which there is no moment in which they were together alone in the house, there is no iddah for that type of separation. فإن كان قبل الدخول فلا مهر. قوله فإن كان قبل الدخول فلا مهر أي إن كان الفسخ قبل الدخول فلا مهر للزوجة سواء كان العيب فيه أو فيها. أما إذا كان العيب فيها فعدم وجوب المهر لها واضح. مثاله إنسان عقد على امرأة وقبل أن يدخل عليها تبين أن فيها عيبا ففسخ العقد فليس لها مهر لكشها وغرورها. Again, our Lord Ibn Taymiyyah is saying that if this is before the consummation of the marriage, whether the flaw is in you or in her, there is no dowry to give because she did not consummate the marriage yet. And if the flaw is in her, then you have more right not to give the dowry. And if the flaw is in you, then of course you have not given the dowry anyway, so there's no point for you to give the dowry, especially if the marriage is not yet consummated. All right. Our noble scholar said, وَإِذَا كَانَ الْوَلِيُّ عَالِمًا وَهِيَ عَالِمًا أَيْضًا فَعَلَى مَنْ يَكُونُ الضَّمَانُ. Okay, he says sometimes the woman may not talk to the man about some issue that she has. If the wali knows the issue and he did not tell the man, right? And then after the marriage, she collected her dowry and then he found out that she has this issue with her. She was expecting the wali to reveal that issue to the man. Now, who will be accountable to paying back the dowry if he chooses to discontinue the marriage? Shukran. Our noble scholar Ibn Taymiyyah said the wali is responsible for that because you are the one who is in charge. You are the one who is talking to the man, right? If she did not reveal, she was expecting you to reveal. This is what our noble scholar Ibn Taymiyyah is saying. But if she hid the problem from the wali, right, and wali did not know, then she is responsible for paying the dowry back. Our noble scholar Ibn Taymiyyah said, الأول أن يكون بين الولي والمرأة لأن كل واحد منهما حصل منه تقرير. Is that number one, if both of them know and they did not reveal, the scholars said both of them are responsible for paying back the dowry because both of them are, betrayers, right? Cheaters. And then he said number two, أن يكون على الولي. It will be only the responsibility of the wali, the guardian, لأنه هو المباشر للعقد, because he's the one who would directly conduct the marriage. He's involved in the conduction of the marriage. So he is the one who is responsible. وكان عليه إذا علم أن في موليته عيبا أن يبينه. And it is upon him, if he know that the one whom he is responsible of has some flaw in her, it is upon him to clarify and to make it clear to the man who is getting married so that he will know. فالولي قال زوجتك والزوج قال قبلت, because the wali is the one who says, I married my ward to you. And the man said, I accepted her as my wife, right? So he said, I accepted her as my wife right here, right? I mean, he is the one who married her. She's not even saying anything, right? So you should make it clear, and therefore you will be held accountable for paying back the dowry. Sometimes a person may have some flaw and may not know that they have the flaw until sometimes, after a period of time, it will be clear that they have this problem with them, right? If a situation like this happens, it is not upon her. She's not what? Responsible. For example, a person may be carrying some sickness that they did not know that they carried that sickness until along the way, they will come and discover, oh, hold on, I have this sickness with me. She is not responsible. And this will not be considered hiding some flaw because she did not know. So if the husband or the wife chooses to discontinue the marriage, he will not be held accountable she will not be held accountable for paying back the dowry. I hope this is clear. Now, so, in brief, this is the ruling pertaining flaws in marriage. And what we mentioned here is the discontinuation of marriage is divided into two. Number one, talaq. Number two, fasq. And the talaq is the right of the man, right? And the fasq is the discontinuation of the marriage contract. And the discontinuation of the marriage contract is either a khola, which is the woman demanding for a divorce. She has to pay back the dowry. Or one of the parties is not able to fulfill the conditions that they have agreed upon before getting married, or if there is a flaw in in one of the spouses after getting married. And we also mentioned that the flaws are divided into two, but the flaws that we are referring to here is the flaw that affects the interest of the marriage, not any other flaw. Wallahu a'lam. If there's any comment or question, we'll take it, or otherwise we will stop here for today's class, inshallah. Now.
It's not a question, but I just want you to throw light on something for me. When you say between a man and a woman, if the man cannot penetrate, okay, is it because it is something natural, or she can be? It's my first time to ever hear that, so I want you to please throw light on that.
It can be. Some people are just born like that. They are impotent. They're not able to erect.
No, I'm not talking about the man, but the woman.
Oh, it can be sickness. Yeah, it can be. It's a kind of. It's what I want to say, abnormality that happen. Okay. Nowadays, alhamdulillah, we live in a modern world. So if a situation like this happen, they can do surgery to open the passage. But not everybody has access to this. So some women may grow up with this. And there are many other issues pertaining that we do not want to mention now. Yeah, but it happens now.
This is an A-graded class, man.
Hmm?
I said, this is A grade, G grade, really.
That's true. Now,
My question is, if you married a woman for him, but a daughter you pay her yet, and something happen, you divorcing her or she divorcing you. So
if she's divorcing you, you're good. You know, you keep the dowry. All right? But if you're divorcing her, la qaddar Allah, you owe her. You have to give her the dowry. Or otherwise, on the day of judgment, she's going to get her money back from you. Now.
My question is, I'm hearing a lot, but I don't know how true it is. But like, can you divorce your mate over salah if they don't?
Yeah. If they don't pray, yeah, you can divorce her. As a matter of fact, you know, we don't want to go too deep to that issue because if a man is not praying, the scholar said he is a what? A kafir, right? And it's not permissible for a Muslim woman to live with a kafir. You understand? So this will automatically nullify the marriage contract. We hope that is not the case. Okay? So there is deeper than that. Okay? So yes, you have the right to say, I cannot be with you if you're not going to pray, because this is going to be the one who will raise your children. So if your wife is not praying, what do you expect the children to do? You know, and prayer is what connects us with our Lord. So if somebody doesn't have good connection with his Lord, you know, there is no hope in that individual. Now,
Ma'am, a sister married for 5 years, and she met with the husband maybe just a couple of times, maybe like 5 times or 6 times for the whole
5 years.
5 years, and she found out that is a gay. So in this situation, does she have to continue with the marriage, or she can just?
No, she can demand the nullification of the marriage. Yeah. Yeah, and then this will be the discontinuation of the marriage, and she's good to go. She doesn't have to pay the dowry back. Now?
She found out he was a Catholic?
No, he's gay.
Oh.
Yeah. Now?
My question is, a father who have a daughter, the daughter is grown and is up to marriage, but any man comes forward, the father says, no, you're not going to marry to this tribe, or you're not married to this kind of person, not for Islamic reason, but just because, and then keep refusing anyone who comes. So how?
This is an issue. It's an issue, and we have these problems. You understand that a man has daughter, she's ready to get married. If someone come, now I'm not going to marry you too, because whatever reason, he always have reason, even though the person may be fit, you know, religiously, they fit financially, but maybe they're not from the same tribe or from the same country. He will be held accountable for that. You understand? The Prophet said, if somebody comes to you whom you are pleased with their religion, right, and their character, marry your daughters off to them. He did not mention anything besides that. He said, if you did not do that, takun fitna. It's going to be fitna on the face of the earth, or fasadun alim, and a great what? Corruption. So we've seen people who do this with their daughters until, you know, they out age, and they just sitting like that. You know, that's not right. You're harming your daughter. You know, you're harming the society in general. So we should not do that. Only if he has a legitimate reason. Okay, but if he doesn't have a legitimate reason, that is not right Islamically. No.
I have a cousin who have that problem. She's like 24 now.
It's
His father is still refusing. Any man who come, not even, he just keep refusing.
May Allah protect us all. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك.